What exactly did Jungkook prepare to make Taehyung silent for long before finally reacting? Many ARMY thought that the anniversary would pass modestly, without major surprises, without excessive highlights. But it was precisely there that the first clues appeared. The unusual silence, Jungkook's gaze that seemed to be holding something back, and the atmosphere that felt different from the beginning made fans start to wonder, is there a hidden moment that hasn't been revealed yet? Little by little, the gesture began to read. Jungkook is said to have deliberately stayed away from the crowd, turned off notifications, and chose to prepare something very personal for Taehyung. Not an expensive gift, not a big party, but rather something that touches the deepest side, something that only the two of them can understand. The sensitive ARMY began to suspect why Jungkook looked much more nervous than usual, as if this surprise was not trivial. When that moment finally happened, Taehyung's reaction took center stage.
No screaming, no excessive laughter.
All that was seen was a surprised expression that slowly turned emotional. His eyes were teary, his smile restrained, and that brief pause gave ARMY goosebumps. Many realize this is not a made-up reaction, but rather an honest response from someone who is truly touched. Some fans speculated that the surprise was related to old memories, promises that had been said secretly, or messages that had never been expressed directly. Jungkook is known to rarely express his feelings in long words, so when he chooses a quiet but deep way, the impact is even stronger. This is what makes Taehyung's reaction so unexpected. It didn't take long for this moment to spread and trigger a chain reaction among the ARMY. Many admitted that they were goosebumps, touched, and even felt as if they were present in the personal moment. This birthday surprise is not only about Taehyung, but also about how Jungkook shows his care in the most sincere way. In the end, the question that remains is no longer, what is the prize? But rather, how deep is the meaning behind it? Because of Taehyung's irrepressible reaction, one thing became clear. This surprise was not just a celebration, but a powerful reminder of an emotional bond that doesn't always need to be announced, but can be felt by anyone who sees it. And it is precisely at that point that emotions begin to feel stronger. After that moment passed, Taehyung seemed to be trying to control himself, taking a deep breath as if he didn't want the atmosphere to turn too haru. But his small gestures, the way he lowered his head, the faint smile that didn't appear right away, and the brief look at Jungkook became another clue that didn't go unnoticed by the ARMY. Many feel that there are unspoken words, but that's exactly what makes the atmosphere feel real. Jungkook himself looked relieved after seeing the reaction. There was no long explanation, no official clarification, as if he wanted to let the meaning of the surprise remain a little secret. This attitude actually reinforces the suspicion that what he does is not for the public spotlight, but purely for Taehyung. The brief silence between them seemed to speak more than 1,000 words. The ARMY's reaction was increasingly unstoppable. Social media is filled with snippets of moments, analysis of expressions, and theories about what Jungkook actually said on Taehyung's birthday. Many claim to cry without knowing the exact reason, just because they feel sincerity that is rarely seen in the midst of the hustle and bustle of the entertainment world. What makes this surprise even more impressive is its simplicity. No excessive drama, no luxury on display. That's precisely why this moment feels so intimate and emotional. ARMY realized that sometimes the most touching things come from the quietest gestures. Now, after all the highlights have subsided, one strong impression remains. This birthday surprise is not about sensations, it is about taste. And from Taehyung's unexpected reaction, ARMY seemed to be reminded once again that behind the big stage and sparkling lights, there was a human connection that was so warm, enough to make anyone who watched it shiver and fall silent for a moment. But this story has not completely stopped there. Some time after that moment passed, small details began to emerge and actually made the ARMY even more convinced that the surprise had been thought out by Jungkook very carefully. From the way Taehyung repeatedly touched the gifts he received, to his change of mood that looked more calm and warm afterwards, everything seemed to be a follow-up clue that was accidentally shown. To his surprise, Taehyung had a short sentence that sounded light, but full of meaning. Many ARMY judge, the speech is not just an ordinary gratitude, but an emotional response to something that touches the most personal side. Some even mentioned that it was rare for Taehyung to show such an expression in a public moment, so the reaction this time felt much deeper. But on the other hand, Jungkook chose to remain in the background. He didn't try to steal attention, didn't turn the atmosphere into a festive one, as if to make sure the focus remained on Taehyung. This attitude actually creates a strong impression that the surprise is a form of tacit support, not an action to get praise. And precisely because of this, the emotions that arise feel so honest. The ARMY also began to compare this moment with previous birthday celebrations. Many feel that there is an increasingly visible emotional maturity, both from Jungkook and Taehyung. This surprise is like a reflection of a relationship that has gone through a lot, so even one simple gesture is able to convey great meaning. In the end, the moment of this anniversary leaves an imprint that is difficult to forget. Not because of what is clearly visible on camera, but because of what is felt behind it. A surprise that didn't say much, an unexpected reaction, and a feeling that reached the hearts of many people, enough to make ARMY believe that there was an emotional story that would continue to be remembered, even if it was never explained clearly.